The ink painting art is a marvelous tradition of Chinese civilization, which contains the essence of 5,000-year history. Since Tang Dynasty, the development of ink painting has continued for over 1,000 years. With its noble spirit quality and independent language system, the ink painting art has shaped an art form with Chinese characters, with thought expressing and spirit conveying as the basic demands, freehand brushwork as the significant mode of thinking, and the combination of poetry, calligraphy, painting, and seal. As the creation method, it has influenced profoundly the creation and study of the contemporary Chinese ink painting art. The ink painting art is old yet young. It came all the way from Tang Dynasty and brings today's China to the world. While promoting the Chinese art and culture to the international community, China National Academy of Painting is also learning from the world, spreading the excellent Chinese culture to the world, and bring excellent foreign culture into Chinese painting. This is really important. In art history, ink painting has its specific definition that distinguishes itself from other Chinese traditional art form. As an art language, ink painting not only wins great artists' favor, but also pleases the craftsman. Chinese traditional ink painting is a black and white painting, having the same deep philosophy with the culture of Chinese nation. It has unique materials and different processes. It combines yin and yang. It is the golden mean. It is not about the reality, but the mind. In Song Dynasty, the ink painting has become the main form of the literati painting. Chen Shizang, the modern Chinese literatus, has summarized, the painting carries the characters and the interests of literati. Yet the skills of the painting can be ignored. The feeling of the literatus must be found in it. The ink painting shows the advantages of literati, for it expresses their talents in all aspects, by poetry, calligraphy, and painting. It's their world in paper. From write to draw, the Chinese art demands a lot of preparation in culture. In this progress, being a professional painter is not enough, for painters need continuous improvement of the skills beyond painting, which may include writing, history, and philosophy knowledge. When a painter is creating, he or she has already completed the painting inside the mind. The contemporary Chinese ink painting no longer refers solely to literati. It breaks the limits of region. It has become a worldwide question. How to confront the opportunities and challenges from the globalization. As with Western art, there are a number of modern creators of Chinese ink painting who are seeking answers. Speaking of today's ink painting art, its value cannot be judged by the system of literati painting simply. In addition, the types of ink painting are no longer the form of literati painting. With the development of the Chinese ink painting, the diversification of values and the variety of art forms have come into being. Since 1980s, new ink is an achievement in Chinese ink painting art. The lively creating quality and the profound focus on the spiritual status, as well as living conditions of contemporary Chinese people, are the outstanding features of new ink. Two outstanding features of new ink are extensibility and exploratory on the language level. The exploration of various art language is related to literati painting, and meantime, folk art, Western modern and contemporary art, and language pattern of even other sister arts are well connected. And the other one is the social criticalness on the spiritual level. It represents social criticism. It pays attention to issues and the awareness of issues. Or we can say the realistic cultural criticism. Numbers of paintings indicate the social issues, cultural issues, and spiritual issues of the contemporary society. New tradition refers to the realistic ink painting of figure that came into being in the early 1900s. This creation mode combines the realistic modeling with literati painting skills and leads to precise figures, charm of literati painting. The new tradition is the most Chinese characterized contemporary ink painting presentation and has dominated the modern ink painting of figure. The most representative and advanced artists of the new tradition are Master Shu Beihong and Master Jiang Zhaohe. The Refugees by Jiang Zhaohe could be the most typical work of new tradition. The Refugees has built the basic type of the realistic ink painting of figure. The appearance of this painting system is a milestone for the development of Chinese ink painting of figure, which adopts precise Western-style modeling for reference and combines with the Chinese literati painting at the same time. From Chinese freehand feeling and interest, it has found a perfect combination. It contains the thorough modeling, yet keeps the spiritual function, transmitting from the literati painting language itself. This realistic ink painting of figure, until now, has been the mainstream in ink painting of figure. I think realistic ink painting of figure in new tradition is the most representative art form, with socialism art in unique Chinese characteristics. New tradition contributes hugely to the improvement of the ability to express the historic and modern events, which fixes the disadvantage of presenting big history events by the brief ink painting. It realizes the traditional Confucianism of scholars taking part in politics. The creating images and visual elements of New Antique come from the existing traditional image system. New Antique inherits the literati painting style and is the continuation of the traditional literati painting in modern society. It has a wide influence on landscape paintings and bird and flower paintings. New Antique devotes to develop the classic structure of traditional ink painting, the painting form of mountains, waters, and flowers from ancient Chinese art history are reinvigorating by modern painters composing and recombining. With a comprehensive research of the contemporary Chinese ink painting, the magnificent spirit, its authentic tradition, and independent value judgment, has always fulfilled the goal in focusing on real life and exploring ultimate ideals of human beings, represents the strong vitality of Chinese civilization. These current painting practices endow Chinese ink painting with cultural charm of tradition and provide this old art form with thoughtful character and exploring qualities which always seen in the contemporary art. Due to the strong regional and ethnic characteristics that Chinese ink painting carries, there was a time When the Westerns understood little about the art form, what they knew were the ancient Chinese painting collections hanging at world-famous museums. They never had a chance to realize that there were some vivid and modern styles of Chinese ink painting. Over these years, China National Academy of Painting has launched a series of exhibitions and exchanges with foreign countries, which have made great efforts to help people from different countries to understand the Chinese ink painting, especially the contemporary Chinese ink painting. Here, I would like to share with you that drawing on traditional Chinese art paper were mostly literati who are creating arts in the past. Great art creation in China represents on the paper, and many contemporary artists continue this way in creating, which is really important. Most of us think, while Chinese ink painting maintaining traditions, it may lose contact with our contemporary world. Today, Chinese artists use brush, water, and ink to focus on social life and people, which surprised me a lot. The ink painting is one of the most representative ones in Chinese paintings. The Chinese spirit pursues the grand beauty between the sky and the earth, the harmonious status of mankind, and a world without war. Influenced by the Chinese art, Chinese people are all equipped with this virtue. Chinese painting is deeply rooted in the soil of Chinese nation and is unique to the world. Chinese ink painting, in aspect of painting language mode, is similar to the Western painting in spiritual pursuit. So in this way, it will be able to become a world language. The ink painting shows more than a Chinese local art representative can do, but represents a world-level art language characteristic. What will the ink painting art become in the future? The answer is no longer a responsibility of Chinese creators who bear the history of traditional Chinese painting.